right, I'll admit this early. Today's adventure is a little ambitious and stupid. The ambitious portion is that the proposed trip is about 14 miles paddling upstream. And anybody that's paddled a kayak upstream, especially a two-hole kayak that's bottoming out right now, knows it's a lot of work. Right now I've got about 8 inches of water, so I'm just dragging bottom. This is not the creek I'm supposed to be paddling up right now, but this is the one that I'm using to get to the creek that I'm supposed to be paddling up to. So we've got a bit of effort ahead of us. So we've got a bit of effort ahead of us right now. First time you've seen this, I just invented it. Okay. More realistically, I think, number one, I've got to try this out to make sure I can even make it up without the current being too swift. So if I can't paddle at least 1 mile per hour, then I'm turning around and hitting a different option. This is what we're looking to try and get up. The current right there is just a bit too strong. Wants to slam the boat into the shore. So if I can get up and over and back in, maybe. That's going downstream. Okay, so we have to go up this way. Well, coming back through is going to be a little precarious too. I guess the other problem is all the shore is super steep bank, so I can't even drop the kayak in and jump in time. Well, hate to say it, I think I'm going to go island camping. Yeah, I've got plenty of time for that. So I'm going to just float the way back down, haul this thing all the way back up to the truck, and drive a little further. All right, well, the way back to the truck is going to be nice and easy because the current's going to do most of the work. Of course, climbing everything back up that bank, that's going to be the least favorite spot of this. At least I still have the truck keys because I didn't put them in my backpack like I was supposed to. And I've got a new spot to put in if I ever want to attempt this again, or a new spot to pull out if I've got 2 trucks, one to drop off and one to pick up. And I've got a new spot to put in if I ever want to attempt this again, or a new spot to pull out if I've got two trucks, one to drop off and one to pick up. And we're flying now. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is pretty nice. Minimal effort. Just glide down. I'll be back to the truck in probably about 30 minutes. I'm kind of curious where this other tributary goes. I guess I can investigate. Doesn't look like the current's very strong on it. Man, that's cool. That stump right there. Let's go take a look at that. Got nothing but time. Wow. All right, that's kind of cool. Shore myself. Let the water sit. Kind of get the feeling that this is just a dead end. I can't imagine navigating some of these riverways before maps when you're just investigating. Okay, so we do have a current flowing. Oh, this is the other way around. Yeah, this is the other way around that log dam. Ooh, yeah. Huh. There's that goose feather that was going down the swift part of the water. I finally caught up to it. It's directly in front of the boat right now. I saw it going down that little rapid section. Here it is. See if I can grab it. Nope, too close. Oh well. Okay. Sure is nice out. Man, wonderful smell too. All right, so realistically, we're getting about 2 miles out of a 6 amp hour, so that's 3 amps a mile, which is 60 watts. So 60 watts of power to go 5 miles an hour for a full mile. Interesting, okay. Oh, and also, my note that this takes a little force to roll has changed because now it's a lot easier. So it doesn't take up as much resistance, is what I'm saying. So it's not as much resistance to have this shaft rotate inside anymore. It's warm, but not hot. Let's see if this thing's got a little bit more in her. Man, what a beautiful day. Yeah, I don't know how you can't love this stuff. There we go. Well, if I recall, I was somewhere on the shore over here when I launched my kayak. So I think I'm gonna pull up on the shore over here and make camp real quick. And finish up the sunset with a beer. What do you think? Half an idea? Welcome to Goose Island. As you can hear all the geese quacking, honking away. They all come here to lay their eggs, and so this is called Goose Island. There's nests riddled all over this island too. All right, so I've got my tent here set up. Got my tent all set up here. I'm silhouetted. Isn't that cool? All right. And it is time for a beer, I'd say. There we go. So, got my rocking chair. I'm set up overlooking the lake. And we have another Two-Hearted IPA. Cheers. Oh, we're gonna be a beer bath today. There we go. You can hear the geese back there at their nests. Well, now you know why it's called Goose Island. We'll see if they're honking all night long or not. I think before bed, I might actually go down and take a quick swim. And since it's going to be dark out, you know what I'm wearing. There's nobody around. This is the place to be. Everybody's out camping. Well, I had high hopes for the Pack River, and really bummed I had to bail on that one. But I think realistically, there's no way I could have made it as far as I wanted to with the current as fast as it's flowing. So realistically, if you want to cover that kind of distance, you're way better off. You're way better off starting upstream and then just letting the current take you down. So I could have started 28 miles upstream and then just kind of made my way down, halfway mark, 14 miles, make camp. I mean, it doesn't even have to be that extreme. I mean, I could do 15 miles up and then set in, make camp anywhere you want. This isn't so bad. Nice relaxing ride in. Okay, gear review. The Durston tent was amazingly light. It looks to me like it's a very durably made, well-constructed tent. I'm going to be bringing this on many other hikes. That lightweight factor being just at 2 pounds with the entire kit. So it's like 2.1 pounds, whatever it was. 2.1, 2.3. Anyway, it's just right over 2 pounds. That setup, I mean, just the tent alone it feels like it's maybe 1 pound with the poles. So it's pretty amazing. So that tarp has got some considerable weight behind it. If you knew, and you're not going up in the mountains, because once you go up in the mountains, the weather changes rapidly. So if you knew for sure that there was no rain in the forecast, you could get away with a 1 pound tent, it seems like. All the other gear is Zenbivy products. And so I bought their Flex Air mattress sheet. So it's a top sheet that slips around that mattress. And I've used for years the Zenbivy quilt. I don't know why they call them quilts. It's just a blanket. Anyways, that's a down loft blanket. Eagles are screaming behind me. I've taken that blanket in my hammock down to -10 degrees. So I know for sure that blanket is a good one. Now ground sleeping is a different story. With the hammock, I've got a built-in R5 mattress. It says R5, but your thermal characteristics are different when you're up in the air versus on the ground. The ground you'll never warm up, and same with the air. The air can strip away the heat from underneath with the wind, but I think the ground tends to be a colder sleep. And I'm just basing that on opinion. I don't really have anything to base that off of. I slept really well last night though. So I crammed a pretty good pressure into that air pad, and at no point did I push through with my hips or butt or anything. No rocks were poking up through. I made it fairly level, but there's still some lumps and bumps in there. Other than the ground being slightly sloped, which you can have in the hammock if you don't set it up properly, but usually it's not that much of an issue. Now the nice thing with the tent is you can be out in the open like this instead of being stuffed up in the trees. So if I was on the hammock, I'd have to go back there in the trees and hang off the trees. So it opens up a lot more of ability to camp in different areas and a lot more opportunity, where hammock camping, you're realistically set to wherever you've got tree spans that are at least 10 feet across to 20 feet. So you don't want to go much more than 20 foot, and you can't go any narrower than 10 foot. So you have to find the perfect tree set and not in the brush, which is very difficult sometimes. So I'm going to be trying this tent out a few more places. There is the difficulty of finding the perfect spot for the tent. No matter what, the ground seems to be sloped. You rarely find the perfect level spot without lumps, bumps, brush, trees, roots, something sticking out through. But we're gonna give it a shot. According to my watch, I slept 5.5 hours, and I had an hour of deep sleep, which is usually way more than I get during a work week. I tend to be in the 20 to 30 minute range for deep sleep on a work day. I didn't wake up at all. I had a couple cycles where I rolled over, so it showed light sleep where I rolled over. Other than that, it was a really good sleep, especially for tent. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not typically a tent sleeper. The Zen Bivy Flex Air did well. I don't know about its durability yet. This was just the first night, and the top sheet paired with it, clipping to the blanket, was really, that's A+. I give that one an A+. So they've got a little clip and binder system with the blanket and that top sheet. So it's got little flaps that keep everything attached, so as you're rolling over, you're not introducing cold air. It keeps the blanket in place, and so you've got a really nice cocoon, lots of room to move in. I slept really well. And then of course the Zen Bivy pillow. I had the, it's an inflatable pad with a goose down topper on it. And I've used that once before, amazing. And this is the second time, still just as good. I didn't have head roll off because it's too small. It's a nice wide pillow. It's almost as good as a pillow from home. And of course you can adjust the air to how firm, how high you want it. But that pillow topper is awesome. Usually with just an air pad type pillow, it just feels weird. So this feels like a natural pillow. It's really good. So all in all, I had a really good night's sleep. I'm gonna be going for more. So as days roll by on using this stuff, like that Durston tent, if I have any failures, I'll let you guys know. But so far, that thing is really amazingly light. I ordered up another 2-pound tent. This one's a teepee tent, but it uses your hiking pole, and I already know I'm not going to like it as much, but for being 2 pounds now, of course, that's just the material itself. You don't have a pole system with it, so they're able to have more material without the poles. And just having that one little teepee pole in the center, limits your ability to move around in that one spot that you've got the most head clearance. So we'll see what this is all about, but you're really relying on the tent stakes for all durability. So in a situation like this, if I'm not staking out because there's too many rocks in the ground, that tent is not going to be usable. So keep that in mind when I'm showing this teepee tent later. But yeah, its ability to be freestanding on the Durston tent is, I think, key factor there. So not always do you have a chance to stake out, especially if you're sleeping on a slab rock. You can't stake out. Yeah, you can tie guy lines off to rocks, that's about it. What do you think? Quick little walkabout? Let's check out this island, huh? We have little trails that go all over the place. Hid my kayak right there. Even though I know there's nobody else on this island, figured, okay, I'll keep it close to the shore and close to me. Look at that, even got St. John's wort and a screaming eagle. Noisy. Who do they think they are? Got some lupine. Hasn't flowered yet. Oh, this one's starting to flower. Syringa. Ooh. Whoa. That's a big eagle. Holy crap. That thing's massive. Jeez, the wingspan on those things. Take that. I don't think I've ever made it down to the shore. There's a goose egg. A little bit of bone. So it looks like an eagle had a nice little treat. Okay. Yeah, there's nest spots all over this place. Little bits of egg everywhere. I have a feeling that a lot of this is stuff that maybe eagles have gotten. Yeah, this is a nice little cove. Feathers all over the place. Well, I see why eagles are hanging out. Plenty to eat. right, I'm going on super extend a pole here, 10 foot. I'm gonna try to keep a good distance, but show a nest here.